The galaxy was vast, filled with countless stars, planets, and civilizations. Among these, several great alien empires ruled with power and precision. They had fleets that could destroy entire worlds and armies that could conquer whole star systems. War and politics were constant, but the balance of power had always been clear. Or at least it seemed clear. On the edge of known space, in a quiet sector far from the central conflicts, human colonies existed. They were few, scattered across lifeless planets, and hardly anyone in the galaxy paid attention to them. To most alien empires, humans were insignificant. A minor species with primitive technology, weak fleets, and little influence. They were more of a curiosity than a threat. Captain Zelther of the Zarnak Empire's fleet stared at the holographic map before him. Red dots glimmered across the display, marking the positions of the great alien powers. Blue dots indicated minor, distant civilizations, mostly ignored in the larger galactic game. One of these dots flickered strangely. "Commander," Zelther said to his aide, "what is that?" The aide hesitated, checking the readings. I don't know, Captain. It is not on any official charts. No signal matches anything in our database. It seems alive." Zelther frowned. The Zarnak Empire was known for its intelligence and advanced technology. Nothing had ever surprised them. Yet this small blip on the edge of space sent a chill through his scales. Meanwhile, on a barren planet near the human colonies, life continued as it always had. Humans worked, traded, and explored. They were not aware of the galaxy watching them, nor did they care. Their world was small, simple, and filled with dreams of the stars. Yet even here something stirred. Far beyond their eyes and sensors, a strange energy signal pulsed through the dark void. Back in the heart of the galaxy, leaders of the great alien empires met in the High Council chambers. The Harlock Empire, the Zarnak Empire, the Varelian Coalition, and others, all powerful, proud, and calculating, sat together in uneasy silence. News had arrived of an unknown presence near the outer rim. "It could be nothing," said Lord Karen of the Harlock. "The edge of space is filled with anomalies. We need not waste our fleets on a ghost." But his words did little to calm the room. Each empire's intelligence officers had seen the same readings. Strange pulses of energy, patterns unlike any known technology, signals that seemed intelligent. No one could explain it. In the quiet corners of the galaxy, humans went about their daily lives. On one small mining world, young technician Mara adjusted her sensors, curious about a faint energy spike. "It's probably just a meteor storm," she said to her friend Jalen, shrugging. "But it feels different somehow." Jalen laughed. "You and your imagination. Humans aren't important to anyone out here. Nothing interesting ever happens." But Mara did not laugh. She watched the readings flicker on her console. The energy was steady, deliberate, and growing stronger. Something was coming. Something no one in the galaxy had expected. Meanwhile, alien scouts in the sector noticed unusual readings. Small ships, sleek and silent, drifted in the darkness, scanning, observing. They reported back to their empires. "Unknown vessel," they said. "Size is massive. Technology unmatched. Cannot identify origin." The council grew tense. How could an unknown species, barely heard of, build something so enormous? The idea was ridiculous, but the data was real. Plans for fleets and attacks were drafted. Maps were studied. Orders were given, all in preparation for a potential threat. But none of them suspected the truth. Humans were not just ordinary. They were cunning, resourceful, and ready in ways no one expected. Far in the distance, in the black emptiness of space, something shifted. A dark silhouette moved silently. No sensors detected it until the last moment. It was not like the alien warships, smooth, efficient, deadly. Its very presence seemed to bend the light around it, hiding it from view. Back on the council planets, tension grew. "We cannot ignore this," said General Vale of the Varelian Coalition. "If it is a threat, we will not have time to react when it strikes. We must act first." But no one acted yet. They watched. They waited. They underestimated what was coming. On Earth, one of the human colonies, scientists gathered around consoles, watching as their instruments picked up unusual cosmic patterns. "The empires are blind," one human scientist murmured. "They do not know we are ready." The calm before the storm stretched across the galaxy. Ships moved in silent orbits. Fleets prepared quietly. Human engineers adjusted weapon systems and shields, oblivious to the panic spreading among alien leaders. It was a calm built on ignorance, on underestimation. And then, in the void beyond, the signal grew stronger. Ships that should have been invisible became detectable. Energy fields shimmered. Alien sensors struggled to comprehend the source. No one knew yet that this calm was only temporary. Soon, the galaxy would learn that humans were not weak, not insignificant, and not to be ignored. One human warship, unknown, unheralded, unseen, was about to decloak. And when it did, the empires would regret every slight, every dismissal, every assumption they had made about humanity. But for now there was calm. Quiet. A deceptive peace. In the council chambers, leaders sipped their drinks, exchanged polite words, and planned their next moves. On distant planets, humans laughed, joked, and worked, unaware of the eyes watching them. And in the darkness between the stars, something waited, silent and patient, ready to change the galaxy forever. Because when humans revealed themselves, there would be no mercy, no negotiation, no misunderstanding. Only the shock of the unknown, a force that had been underestimated for too long. The calm would end soon. The storm was coming. And the galaxy, proud and arrogant, would not be ready. The emptiness of space had always been deceptive. To most alien fleets, it was calm, predictable, and easily mapped. But in the far reaches of the outer rim, a dark silhouette hovered where none should have been. For months, alien scouts had noticed faint, irregular signals. Signals that defied their understanding. Now, the source of those signals was about to reveal itself. The Zarnak Empire's fleet, the largest in that sector, was on high alert. Captain Zelther paced the bridge of his flagship, his claws tapping nervously on the railing. Screens flickered with reports. The anomaly was growing stronger. Ships in the area reported strange energy pulses, unusual emissions, and fleeting shadows where nothing should exist. "Captain," said his lieutenant, a sleek Zarnak named Vrel, "our scans are picking up a massive energy spike. Whatever it is, it's unlike any known technology." Zelther leaned forward, squinting at the holographic display. The readings were chaotic, inconsistent, almost alive. He had seen countless new ships and experimental designs, but this was something entirely different. Suddenly, space itself seemed to shimmer. Alien sensors went haywire. Communications buzzed with static. And then it appeared. A human warship, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, decloaked. It was enormous, sleek, and perfectly balanced. Its hull reflected the starlight in a strange way, making it look almost invisible until it moved. Lines of glowing blue energy traced its edges, hinting at power sources and weapons beyond comprehension. The ship's design was elegant, not monstrous like alien warships, yet it radiated strength and precision. The Zarnak fleet froze. "Impossible," muttered Zelther. "That cannot exist. Humans, they don't have the technology to." Before he could finish, the warship fired a pulse. A beam of energy so concentrated it sliced through the lead Zarnak cruiser like paper. Explosions rippled across the fleet. Smaller ships were thrown into chaos, their shields failing against the weapon. "Targeting, recalibrating, shields failing," shouted Vrel. "Captain, we are losing ships." The human warship did not pause. It moved with purpose, decloaking and striking again, its weapons precise, calculated, devastating. Alien fleets scrambled to respond, firing every missile, every laser, every energy weapon they possessed. Nothing worked. The beams bounced harmlessly off invisible shields. Missiles disintegrated before reaching the human vessel. Across the galaxy, leaders of other empires received frantic messages. Reports came in from every scout, from every outpost. A human warship had appeared. And it was annihilating alien forces with terrifying efficiency. Lord Karen of the Harlock Empire slammed his clawed hand onto the council table. "How is this possible? Humans do not have fleets capable of this." "Perhaps it is a new weapon," suggested General Vale of the Varelian Coalition. "Or an ancient human superweapon hidden until now. We must prepare our defenses immediately." But preparation was already too late. The human warship was not just a weapon, it was a statement. Each shot, each maneuver demonstrated strategy, precision, and power that no alien had ever imagined from the humans. On the human side, the crew of the warship worked calmly. Captain Mara, she was young, intelligent, and fearless, watched the displays as alien ships scrambled. "Steady," she said to her crew. "They will learn soon enough. Stay calm, conserve energy, and wait for the right moment." Her second-in-command, Jalen, nodded. "It's incredible, Captain. They have no idea what's coming." Mara smiled faintly. "They always underestimate humans. That is their mistake." As the warship advanced, alien commanders realized something terrifying. Humans did not just react, they predicted. Every maneuver by the alien fleets was countered before it could even begin. Ships were disabled with surgical precision. Communication lines were disrupted. Command structures collapsed. In one corner of the galaxy, a small Harlock cruiser escaped, fleeing toward the nearest space station. Its captain, trembling, transmitted a message. "Attention all empires, we have underestimated humans. Repeat, humans are not weak. They are stronger than anything we imagined." The message ended abruptly as the warship decloaked once more, firing a pulse that obliterated the ship. Back on the human vessel, Mara activated the stealth field again. The warship vanished from sensors, leaving the aliens blind and confused. The galaxy, which had always assumed dominance over humans, was suddenly faced with something entirely new. A species capable of overwhelming any fleet, any strategy, any plan. The news spread quickly. Across council chambers, across communication relays, across every inhabited system in the Outer Rim, fear took root. Alien leaders whispered among themselves, calculating and recalculating. No one could explain how humans had achieved such technological mastery. And no one knew how many ships they truly had. "Are there more?" Lord Karen asked, panic in his voice. "We do not know," admitted Vale. "If there are, the galaxy itself may not survive their first strike." Even as fear spread, humans remained calm. Mara's warship continued silently, moving beyond the Outer Rim, scanning, observing, waiting. The aliens had no idea that this single vessel was only the beginning, a demonstration of what humans could do when underestimated. For the first time in galactic history, alien fleets hesitated. They no longer assumed dominance. They no longer believed they were untouchable. And in the shadows, beyond every sensor, humanity watched and waited. They did not need to conquer the galaxy yet. They only needed to show what they could do. And that was enough. The emergence of the unknown human warship changed everything. The galaxy that had once ignored humans now trembled at their presence. Pride, arrogance, and underestimation were replaced by fear, confusion, and regret. For the first time, aliens understood a simple, terrifying truth. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not insignificant. Humanity was something the galaxy had never truly faced before. And the storm was only beginning. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. The human warship, massive and silent, had revealed itself and shattered every assumption the alien empires held about humans. For weeks, fleets scrambled to respond, coordinating across light years, but it was too little, too late. Captain Mara stood on the bridge of the warship, her eyes calm as she watched the alien fleets through the tactical display. "All systems ready," she said. Her voice was steady, confident. "They've finally seen us. Now it's time they understand." Jalen, her second in command, leaned over her shoulder. "Captain, the Zarnak fleet is fully mobilized. Hundreds of ships, all converging on our position. Are we ready for this?" Mara nodded. "They think they can overwhelm us with numbers? Let them try." On the bridge of the Zarnak flagship, Captain Zelther's claws tightened around the railing. His fleet formation was perfect, disciplined, and precise. They had planned for every possibility, or so he thought. "Target the human warship," he ordered. "All weapons fire on my command." The human warship remained still, almost as if it were waiting. Alien sensors were confused. Missiles were launched, beams fired, but every attack met failure. The human vessel's shields absorbed or deflected every strike. Its stealth systems flickered unpredictably, making targeting nearly impossible. Then came the first human strike. A pulse of energy, focused and devastating, tore through the center of the Zarnak fleet. Entire squadrons of cruisers were obliterated in a single moment. Explosions blossomed like deadly flowers in the void of space. Ships spun uncontrollably, their crews screaming in panic. "Impossible!" Zelther roared. "They can't. This is beyond any human technology." But it was real. Humans had not only built a warship beyond alien comprehension, they had mastered tactics that no one could predict. The warship moved with precision, striking exactly where the enemy was weakest, avoiding traps, bypassing defenses. Every shot was deliberate, calculated, and fatal. In the chaos, smaller alien fleets tried to flank the human ship. Their commanders hoped to divide attention and overwhelm it. Mara watched, analyzing each maneuver with calm precision. "Redirect power to the forward cannons," she ordered. "Target the lead cruisers. Disable their engines first." The human warship's cannons flared, sending beams slicing through enemy hulls. Ships were disabled without destruction at first, a careful strategy to sow fear and confusion. Alien crews watched their comrades fall in seconds, unable to respond, paralyzed by shock. This is strategy, muttered one Varelian admiral over the comms. They are not just attacking, they are teaching us a lesson. Alien leaders scrambled. Commands overlapped, fleets collided, and alliances frayed. Fear spread faster than the explosions themselves. They had thought humans were weak, primitive, and easy to manipulate. Now every assumption was shattered. Far away in a council chamber of the Harlock Empire, Lord Karen slammed his clawed fist on the table. This is a nightmare. They are too fast, too precise. How can one ship do this to an entire fleet? They are not just fast, my lord, said an intelligence officer. They are smart. Beyond anything we have seen. The humans have learned the art of war we never imagined. Back on the human warship, Mara smiled faintly. They panic easily, she said. Fear clouds judgment. They will make mistakes and we will exploit every one of them. Jalen nodded, his eyes following the tactical displays. It's working, Captain. Their formations are collapsing. The moment we hit the next squadron. Mara raised a hand. Wait. Let them think they have a chance. Do not rush. The first strike is about more than damage, it is about teaching them the cost of underestimating humanity. And so, the human warship moved like a phantom. It appeared in multiple places at once, its decloaking unpredictable. Alien sensors reported sightings in one sector, only to discover the warship had vanished and reappeared behind them. It was as if the vessel was everywhere and nowhere, a terrifying shadow of death. The first strike was brutal. Hundreds of alien ships were lost. Thousands of alien lives ended. Command structures collapsed. Panic spread across the fleets like wildfire. But humans did not celebrate. They maintained their calm, their discipline, their focus. They had shown the galaxy their power, but the warship's captain understood that victory was not measured by destruction alone. It was measured by respect and awareness. Prepare the next phase, Mara said softly. We have made our point, but we are not done. They need to remember this. Across the galaxy, alien leaders finally began to comprehend the truth. Humans were not weak. Humans were not insignificant. Humans were capable of strategy, courage, and technology that defied imagination. And for the first time, the arrogant empires that had ruled the stars with confidence realized something terrifying. They had misjudged the humans completely. From that moment, the first strike would be remembered in history, not just for the destruction it caused but for the lesson it taught. Underestimate humanity and you will pay the price. The warship glided silently away from the wreckage, its shields shimmering faintly as if it were a ghost. Alien fleets regrouped, but the fear was already planted deep. Across light years, commanders whispered warnings, recalculated strategies, and began to question everything they knew about humans. Mara turned from the tactical display, her face calm, her voice steady. They will remember today, she said. And they will never make the same mistake twice. The first strike had ended. But it was only the beginning. The storm had arrived, and humanity had made its mark on the galaxy in a way no one would ever forget. The galaxy was still reeling from the first strike. Alien empires, proud and arrogant, had assumed dominance over humans for centuries. They had underestimated humans, dismissed them as weak, and treated their colonies as insignificant. But the first strike had changed everything. Now, the human warship was not just a threat, it was a symbol of power, precision, and cunning beyond imagination. Captain Mara watched the tactical displays on her warship, her expression calm as ever. The remnants of the Zarnak fleet were attempting to regroup. Other fleets, the Harlock, the Varelians, and the smaller independent factions, had begun to form defensive positions, hoping to contain the human threat. But Mara knew their fear was already a weapon in her hands. Status report, she said, her voice quiet but commanding. Jalen, her second-in-command, answered quickly. They are trying to form a new line, Captain. But they are disorganized. The first strike, it broke their confidence. They hesitate. They don't trust each other. Good, Mara replied. We will strike again. But this time we will teach them a lesson they cannot forget. The human warship moved like a phantom, decloaking briefly to unleash devastating attacks on supply lines, communication hubs, and transport convoys. Entire alien fleets watched helplessly as humans struck critical systems with precision. The humans did not destroy entire planets or settlements, they were efficient, selective, and terrifyingly smart. Alien commanders could not believe what they were seeing. Their fleets, designed to crush enemies in conventional battles, were failing against a single human vessel. Their calculations, strategies, and technology were no match for humans' foresight and adaptability. "Why can't we hit them?" shouted Admiral Vale of the Varelian coalition. Our weapons should be enough. Why are they evading every attack? They are not just evading, replied a subordinate. They anticipate our moves and counter them. Every strike we make is predicted and neutralized before it lands. Meanwhile, on distant human colonies, scientists monitored the results of the strikes. They observed alien fleets scrambling, panicked communications, and widespread chaos. But the humans did not gloat. They were disciplined, studying the galaxy's reaction, learning, and preparing for the next steps. In one particular sector, a small Harlock cruiser attempted to attack the human warship from behind. It fired missiles and energy beams, hoping to catch the humans off guard. Mara watched the display carefully. "Adjust course," she said. "Let them overextend. They will exhaust their energy and make mistakes." The human warship moved with unmatched agility. The missiles were intercepted, the beams deflected. The Harlock cruiser's engines were disabled without harming the crew, a calculated decision to spread fear without unnecessary destruction. "Captain," Jalen said, his eyes wide, "they're retreating, but in perfect formation. They know we're superior, they're trying to live another day." "Exactly," Mara said. "They are learning. They will understand the cost of underestimating humans." The strike continued. Humans targeted supply routes that fed the alien fleets, cutting off resources and communications. Without resources, the Empire's fleets could not maintain their strength. Panic spread across the galaxy as the aliens realized that one human ship had crippled entire systems without ever boarding a planet or occupying it. News traveled fast. Across council chambers, alien leaders whispered in disbelief. "How can one ship do this?" one asked. "They cannot possibly have the resources, the numbers, yet they destroy everything with ease." "They are humans," replied another leader quietly. "And we have always underestimated them." Back on the human warship, Mara observed the alien fleets. She understood that humans did not need to destroy everything to win. They only needed to demonstrate their superiority, forcing fear and respect into the galaxy's heart. "Prepare the stealth field," she ordered. "It's time to vanish before they regroup." In moments, the warship disappeared from sensors, leaving alien commanders confused, terrified, and angry. The humans had struck again, and vanished, leaving only questions and fear behind. For the first time, alien fleets doubted themselves. Alliances frayed. Commanders argued over blame. Some wanted to fight aggressively, others wanted to negotiate, but none could act effectively. The human strikes had shattered their confidence and control. Mara turned to Jalen and said softly, "Every empire we've encountered thinks of humans as small, weak, insignificant. That is their mistake. They will learn quickly, but we must always stay ahead." Jalen nodded. "Captain, this is more than a battle. It's a lesson in respect, in fear, in reality." "Exactly," Mara replied. "And humanity will make sure they never forget it." Even as alien empires struggled to reorganize, humans were already preparing for the next phase. The strikes had been precise, controlled, and devastating, not for maximum destruction but for maximum effect. Each attack spread the message: humans were not a species to be underestimated. Across the galaxy, the legend of the human warship began to grow. Stories circulated of a single ship that could outmaneuver entire fleets, strike with deadly precision, and vanish without a trace. Alien commanders whispered warnings, recalculated strategies, and feared the humans more than ever before. And in the darkness of space, Captain Mara looked at the stars, calm and confident. "The galaxy is learning," she said. "They are beginning to understand that humans are not to be taken lightly. And we have only just begun." The second strike had not only caused chaos, it had reshaped the galaxy's perception of humanity. One warship had forced entire empires to reconsider their arrogance, to rethink their strategies, and to fear a species they had once dismissed. Mara's crew worked quietly, efficiently, and with discipline. They did not celebrate. They did not gloat. They simply prepared, waited, and observed. The humans had struck again, and the lesson was clear. Underestimate humans and you will pay. The galaxy would never be the same. The storm had grown stronger. Humanity had shown its power once and then again. The aliens knew that if the humans chose to strike a third time, the consequences would be unimaginable. And humanity would strike again on its own terms, teaching the galaxy a lesson in fear, respect, and the power of an underestimated species. The warship glided silently into the shadows, ready for the next move. Humanity had struck again. And the galaxy would never forget. The galaxy had never felt fear like this before. Alien empires, which had once ruled countless star systems with confidence, were now gripped by terror. A single human warship had shattered their fleets, disrupted supply lines, and shown them that humans were not to be underestimated. Across council chambers, leaders of the great empires argued in panic. The Zarnak Empire, proud and disciplined, had lost entire squadrons without ever fully understanding the human ship's capabilities. The Harlock Empire debated whether to retreat or risk another assault. The Varelian coalition quarreled with its allies, blaming one another for failing to anticipate humanity's sudden rise. Lord Karen of the Harlock Empire slammed his clawed hand on the council table. We cannot continue like this. One ship, one human vessel, has undone months of preparation. How is this possible? An intelligence officer replied, voice trembling. They are faster, smarter, and more precise than any species we have ever encountered. Their technology defies our understanding. They can predict our moves, evade our attacks, and strike where it hurts the most. It is terrifying. The leaders grew quiet, absorbing the reality. Fear spread faster than any message or missile. Every commander in every fleet began second-guessing their decisions. Alliances fractured as blame replaced trust. In many cases, fleets refused to follow orders, retreating to safe systems to regroup. On the outer rim, humans observed quietly from their warship, hidden behind the shadows of space. Captain Mara reviewed the reports from alien fleets. Panic was widespread. Commanders were confused, communications were in chaos, and alliances were weakening. Humanity had not even needed to destroy entire worlds. The fear itself was a weapon, and it was working. Jalen leaned over her shoulder. Captain, they're retreating to their defensive sectors. No one is daring to pursue us. They've seen what we can do, and now they hesitate. Mara nodded. Good. Panic spreads faster than fleets ever could. The galaxy is learning that humans are not weak. They are beginning to understand the cost of underestimating us. In the chaos of alien panic, small incidents multiplied. Fleets collided while attempting to regroup. Supply lines were cut as communication errors caused confusion. Officers who once commanded respect now argued desperately over the best course of action. The humans' calculated strikes had not only disabled ships, they had shattered confidence. A Varelian admiral, speaking over the emergency comms, shouted, "We cannot organize. They are everywhere and nowhere at once. Their ship moves like a ghost." And in a sense that was true. The human warship did not chase glory. It struck, vanished, and reappeared elsewhere, creating a sense that it was impossible to predict. Alien fleets never knew whether they were about to be attacked or if it was a trap. Fear paralyzed them more than any weapon could. Across distant planets, citizens of the great empires whispered rumors. Stories of a single human ship tearing through fleets spread like wildfire. Traders, scientists, and military officers alike spoke in hushed tones of humans who could outthink, outmaneuver, and outgun the combined might of centuries-old empires. In the councils of the Zarnak Empire, some leaders called for immediate retaliation. "We must show them we are not afraid," one cried. "But how?" asked another, voice shaking. "Their ship cannot be found, cannot be hit, cannot be stopped. Our fleets are in disarray. The humans are not just fighting, they are teaching us a lesson in fear and strategy. Do you understand what we are up against?" Even the bravest of commanders realized the truth. Humans were not merely strong, they were clever, disciplined, and fearless. Every miscalculation by the aliens had been exploited. Every assumption shattered. And worse, the humans were patient. They struck when it mattered, showing restraint yet devastating skill. On the human warship, Mara observed the chaos without a hint of satisfaction. She did not need to gloat. The panic was itself proof of humanity's strength. "They are learning," she said softly. "Not just that we are strong, but that they have been arrogant, dismissive, and blind. Fear is a lesson they will never forget." Jalen nodded. "Captain, this is more than just strategy. This is psychological warfare. They're unraveling before our eyes." Mara smiled faintly. "Exactly. And that is just the beginning. Once the galaxy realizes that humans are more than they imagined, their arrogance will crumble completely." The panic spread to every level of alien society. Intelligence reports were questioned, military plans were ignored, and political leaders turned on one another. No fleet could act decisively because fear had infected every officer, every soldier, and every commander. Humans had not needed numbers or territory, they had weaponized perception, confidence, and precision. Meanwhile, the human warship remained unseen, observing, learning, and waiting. Captain Mara knew that the next move was critical. It was not just about destroying ships, it was about solidifying the lesson. Humans had shown the galaxy that they were not weak, insignificant, or to be dismissed. Now, the humans would continue to strike in a way that would make every alien power rethink their assumptions. Across the galaxy, one thing was certain: humanity had changed the rules of engagement. Fear had replaced arrogance. Panic had replaced confidence. And for the first time, the alien empires understood that humans were not a species to underestimate. In the darkness of space, Mara whispered to her crew, "The galaxy is awake now. They see us. They fear us. And that fear, that is the power of humanity." Jalen, ever loyal and attentive, replied, "And soon, Captain, they will learn there is no force in the galaxy capable of matching us, if we choose to fight." Mara nodded, eyes fixed on the stars ahead. "Let them panic. Let them wonder. The storm has arrived and humanity will continue to strike, until they truly understand who we are." The galactic panic was complete. Alien empires, proud for centuries, were reduced to fear and confusion. One warship, a single human vessel, had demonstrated what arrogance and underestimation could cost an entire civilization. And in the shadows, humanity waited, patient and unyielding, ready for the next strike that would shake the galaxy even further. The storm had grown, and the galaxy was powerless to stop it. The galaxy was in chaos. Alien empires, proud for millennia, had been humbled by a single human warship. Fear spread faster than light across the stars, reaching council chambers, fleets, and outposts alike. Commanders questioned everything they had known, alliances frayed, and suspicion replaced trust. Captain Mara stood on the bridge of the human warship, observing the aftermath of their strikes. The alien fleets had retreated to defensive positions, their confidence shattered. Humans had struck not only with precision but with a lesson in humility. Yet Mara knew this was not enough. The galaxy needed to understand not just humanity's power, but humanity's purpose. "Prepare the communication array," Mara said, her voice calm. "It's time to send a message." Jalen raised an eyebrow. "A message, Captain? To whom exactly?" "To all of them," Mara replied. "The empires, the fleets, the councils. Let them hear what humans truly are." Across the galaxy, alien leaders scrambled as a strange transmission appeared on every channel simultaneously. It was not a threat, not a demand, but a clear, concise message from the humans. The transmission spoke in multiple languages, instantly translated by alien technology. "We are humans. We are not your enemies, yet we will defend ourselves. We have been underestimated for too long. Do not mistake our patience for weakness, our curiosity for submission. Humanity will protect its own, and we will act with precision, intelligence, and resolve against those who threaten us. Respect humanity and you will find allies. Underestimate humanity, and you will find only regret." The message echoed through council chambers and war rooms, and alien leaders stared at the screens in disbelief. It was calm, direct, and commanding, yet free of unnecessary aggression. Yet the meaning was clear: humanity was not to be trifled with. Lord Karen of the Harlock Empire slammed his clawed hand on the table. "This is arrogance. One species, one ship, dares to lecture the galaxy?" "Yes," said an aide cautiously. "And they are proving it, my lord. Look at the fleets, they hesitate. They fear a second strike." In every alien fleet, commanders paused. They had seen what humans could do. They had witnessed the precision, the intelligence, and the power of a single ship. Now they were hearing directly from the humans themselves. It was a lesson in humility no empire could ignore. Meanwhile, Mara watched her tactical display, calm as always. The galaxy had seen strength. Now they had heard the voice of reason. Humans were not aggressive conquerors. They were a force to be respected. "They are listening," Jalen said softly. "Some may finally understand, but others, they will never accept it." "Let them try," Mara replied. "Those who refuse to understand will regret it. Those who do, may yet survive in this galaxy." The impact of the message was immediate. Fleets hesitated, defensive strategies were reconsidered, and councils argued over the proper response. Even the bravest commanders realized that humans were not just strong, they were intelligent, disciplined, and strategic. One ship had rewritten the rules of engagement across multiple sectors. In the outer rim, small human colonies watched from afar. Engineers, scientists, and leaders observed the alien panic with quiet satisfaction. They did not celebrate destruction, nor did they gloat. Humans had shown their power in the first strikes and solidified it with their message. They had made the galaxy listen and think. Back in the Harlock Empire, Lord Karen finally spoke, voice low and wary. "They are not like us, not like any species we have encountered. They are something else entirely. Across the galaxy, whispers began. Stories spread of humans as patient, calculated, and disciplined. The warship that had struck fleets, crippled defenses, and vanished had now spoken directly to the galaxy. The legend of humanity was growing, not through myth or exaggeration but through undeniable proof. Mara turned to her crew. They know who we are now. They understand our purpose, our patience, and our strength. That is enough for today. Retreat to the shadows. Let them consider our message. Jalen smiled. Captain, they will never forget this day. The galaxy will remember humanity. Mara nodded. Yes. And when they do forget, we will remind them. Humans have patience, but we do not forgive ignorance. Even as the human warship retreated into the void, alien leaders could not stop discussing, fearing, and recalculating. Humanity had sent its message, clear and undeniable. They were a species to respect, fear, and never underestimate. The storm that had begun with a single strike was now reinforced with words. Humans had demonstrated their power, their discipline, and their intelligence, and they had spoken directly to the galaxy. In the darkness of space, Mara observed the stars. We have made them pause, made them reflect. They will think twice before underestimating us again. Jalen leaned back, amazed. It's incredible. One ship, a message, and the entire galaxy is reconsidering centuries of assumptions. Mara smiled faintly. It's not just power or weapons, Jalen. It's strategy, patience, and intelligence. Humanity does not just fight, we teach. And the galaxy is learning. The message had done its work. Alien fleets reconsidered, councils debated, and commanders hesitated. Fear was tempered with understanding. Humanity was no longer a minor species to dismiss. It was a force to be reckoned with. And as the human warship disappeared into the shadows, the galaxy realized a simple, terrifying truth. Humans were patient, disciplined, and strategic, and they would act with precision against anyone foolish enough to threaten them. The message had been sent. The lesson had been taught. And the galaxy, shaken and uncertain, would never be the same again. The galaxy was never the same again. The appearance of a single human warship had reshaped entire civilizations. Fleets once proud and confident now moved cautiously, councils debated endlessly, and empires reconsidered centuries of assumptions. The humans had demonstrated strength, precision, intelligence, and restraint. The storm that had begun with a single strike and a message had become a legend, one that would echo across the stars for generations. Captain Mara stood on the bridge of the warship, gazing at the dark void beyond. The ship's engines hummed softly, a reminder of humanity's silent power. For weeks, they had struck fleets, crippled supply lines, and sent a clear message: humanity was not to be underestimated. Now the time had come to vanish and let the galaxy ponder the truth. Prepare the stealth field, Mara ordered. We disappear. Jalen, always vigilant, glanced at the displays. They've scattered, Captain. Fleets are retreating to their defensive systems. Commanders are arguing, panicked. They don't know what to do next. Good, Mara replied calmly. Let them wonder. Let them reflect on what they have seen. That is our legacy. The warship shimmered and vanished from every sensor in the galaxy. The humans had shown themselves, struck decisively, and then disappeared, leaving behind fear, awe, and uncertainty. Alien leaders could only speculate about the human strength, their numbers, and their intentions. The unknown human warship had become a ghost story in real time, a living legend. In the aftermath, alien empires began to reorganize. Some sought vengeance, while others attempted diplomacy, but all approached humans with caution. The arrogance that had defined interstellar politics for centuries had been replaced by respect and wariness. Humanity had carved a place for itself among the stars, not through conquest but through demonstration of skill, intelligence, and restraint. Across the galaxy, stories of the warship spread. Traders, scientists, officers, and citizens alike whispered tales of its power. One ship, unmoving in silence, had struck entire fleets, sent messages to the galaxy, and vanished. The legend grew with every retelling. Humans were patient, disciplined, and unmatched in strategy. They were not monsters, but they were unstoppable when underestimated. On distant human colonies, life continued, but the awareness of humanity's rising presence in the galaxy lingered. Scientists studied alien technology, engineers improved starship designs, and leaders trained fleets, preparing for any future encounters. The galaxy had been shaken, but humans were ready. They had taught the lesson once, and they would teach it again if necessary. In the shadows of space, Mara stood silently watching distant stars. "This is only the beginning," she said to Jalen. Jalen nodded. "The galaxy will remember. They will speak of today for centuries. They will fear humans but also respect them." Mara's eyes glimmered with quiet determination. "Yes. Humans are not invaders, but we are not defenseless either. One warship has shown the galaxy our strength. Many more will ensure they never underestimate us again." Even among alien empires, small pockets of admiration emerged. Some began to study humans, learning their tactics, their resilience, and their innovation. Others remained fearful, preparing for potential threats. But all agreed on one thing: humanity had changed the rules of the galaxy forever. For humans, the lesson was clear: strength alone was not enough. Strategy, discipline, intelligence, and patience were the true weapons of a species that refused to be overlooked. One ship had demonstrated the impossible, teaching the galaxy respect through action and thought. Mara turned to her crew. "We have done our duty. We have shown the galaxy who we are. Let them remember the unknown human warship, not just as a vessel but as a symbol. A symbol of humanity's potential, its discipline, and its power." Jalen smiled. "It will inspire future generations. Not just humans but others who witness our strength and wisdom." The human warship glided silently through the void, disappearing into the uncharted reaches of space. The storm had passed but the legend endured. Across the stars, alien fleets would pause before acting, councils would debate before sending orders, and the galaxy would never again dismiss humanity as insignificant. And somewhere in the dark expanse, other human ships lay hidden, waiting for the moment the galaxy might need to be reminded once more that humans were patient, intelligent, and unstoppable when underestimated. The unknown human warship had left its mark. It was more than a ship. It was a message, a legacy, a warning. The galaxy had learned fear and respect simultaneously, and humans had proven that even a single vessel could alter the course of civilizations. Captain Mara looked at the stars, a quiet smile on her face. "They will speak of us," she said softly. "They will remember the day humanity emerged from the shadows. And when they do, they will understand why humans are not to be underestimated." The galaxy, forever changed, would never forget. The storm had passed, but the legacy of the unknown human warship would endure for eternity.